Hi, this is Tamara at mooglyblog.com, and in this video I'm going to be demonstrating how to make my free pattern, the Pick Your Pony Beanie. Again, that's a free pattern on mooglyblog.com, so you can get the pattern there. There will be links in the description, and you can print it out and follow along. Here I have two of my Pick Your Pony beanies. It comes in two sizes, a child size and an adult size. And it is made using Lion brand homespun. You can see right here, a true classic, and an N hook, or a 9mm hook. This one is by Furls. I've got several different colorways here. This one is the Prairie colorway I'll be using to demonstrate today. And then here we have one made in Sunday stripes. Because it's a child size hat, I didn't get any of the stripes, but that's still a pretty pink. And then this one is made with the Tudor colorway. Now you probably noticed the buttons on the child size one here, and these are actually in the back of the hat. And this is a little different from most of the ponytail or messy bun hats you've probably seen, in that instead of having one hole in the top, this hat actually features an opening. Let me get my hand in there so you can properly see it, all the way from the top to the bottom, that is closed up with these buttons. There's two buttons, so it's adjustable to the size of the head, so that I'm able to have two hat patterns that fit anywhere from age 3 on up. And with this style of messy bun hat or ponytail hat, you don't have to wear your ponytail, your bun right at the top of the hat. You can wear it anywhere down towards the nape of your neck. So it's just got a lot more flexibility, and you can even wear it without a ponytail and it still closes up nicely. So once again, this is the child-sized one. So this is actually the front of the hat. It's a very simple hat and half double crochet beanie with some ribbing for the brim. This is the adult size. I love this colorway. Once again, this is the Tudor colorway. So pretty. And you can see on the back of this one, we've got our two buttons again. So when you put that hook down, when you can put it on already buttoned and just slip your ponytail or your bun through the hole, or you can put it on open so that you don't mess up your hair and close it up afterwards. And I'll show you on a quick mannequin really quickly at the end of this tutorial how that works. But let me set these finished ones aside for now, and we can get started on making one together. Okay, so let's begin. With this pattern, I like to leave a nice long tail because we'll be beginning with a magic circle. If you're not familiar with the magic circle, also known as the magic ring, you can find a tutorial for it on my YouTube channel or on my blog. So after I've begun my ring here, I'm going to work 11 half double crochets in that ring. Let me pull that up. When I work my magic circle, I make sure to go around both the ring itself and the tail end, and that helps me close it up nice and tight. So once again, round 1 is 11 half double crochets in that magic ring. And then from there, I'll be able to show you the trick to this hat. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, one more, and 11. Oh, all the yarns I've pulled up is trying to join me here on the table. There we go. All right, so I've made my 11 half double crochets. And with this yarn, it can be hard to count your stitches. But the key to that is to look at, if you can, try and look for those top V's, those top 2 loops. Makes it a little bit easier to count your stitches with this yarn. Or you can just count as you go like I just did. That helps too, but we all know how interruptions happen. So after we've worked our 11 half double crochets, normally if we were working in the round we would join to that first stitch, but this hat is different, as you've seen. So what we're going to do is go ahead and pull on that tail to close up that magic ring. There we go. Give it a good tug. And then when I'm done with my hat, I will take that end and I will weave it in really well, both directions, so that it doesn't come open. So with round 1 done, rather than joining, what we're going to do is turn. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn to go back the other direction in the circle. And then as we increase over the next few rows, it's always going to be kind of the same pattern. We're going to work 1 half double crochet in the first stitch. Then we're going to work our increases over the next 9 stitches, or however many stitches, until there's 1 stitch left, and then that'll have 1 in it as well. So for this round, We're going to work kind of standard increases if you're familiar with working in a circle. We're going to start with our 1 half double crochet and then work 2 half double crochets in each stitch until we get to the last one, and that just gets 1 again. So I will go ahead and get started on those. So we've got 1, 2 in the next stitch, 2 in the next stitch, and then by the time, of course, we get to the end of this row, we will have 20 stitches. So I'll see you at the end of this row. So here I am at the end of row 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and work that last stitch there. Oops, I missed one of the loops. Let's do that again. I'm going to go under both of the loops of that last stitch. There we go. And that is the end of row 2. Now, like I said, we're working in rows. Even though we started with the magic circle, we're going to be going back and forth. And this looks like it has a pretty good gap in it right now, but as you work the hat and then work the brim, this will actually close up pretty nicely. So don't worry too much about having a big hole essentially at the back of your head. So for row 3, we are going to chain 1 and turn. And this is, again, the same sort of setup. We'll work 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, and then we'll work sort of the standard increase for round 3 of a circle. We're going to work 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, 2 half double crochets in the stitch after that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that every time we work a new row in this pattern, we'll increase by 9 stitches. So with our half double crochet in the first one, we'll half double crochet in the next, and then 2 half double crochets in the stitch after that. And when we get to the end of the row, we'll work a single half double crochet in the very last stitch, so that at the end of row 3, we will have 29 stitches. So I'll see you at the end of this row. Alrighty, so here we are at the end of round 3. We've got our 29 stitches made. It sort of looks a little bit like a lily pad at this point, doesn't it? We've got our increases happening, 1 half double crochet at the beginning and end of each row, with our increases in the middle that give us this nice round shape, and this is 3 rows in. Now if you're making the adult size hat, you'll keep increasing through 5 rows. If you are making the child size hat, you only increase through 4 rows. So if we're making the child size hat, we only have 1 more row to make. If we're making the adult hat, we'd have 2 more rows to make. So let's go ahead and start round 4 together. I'm going to start with a chain 1 again and a half double crochet in that very first stitch. And then if you haven't already picked up on it, we've got our standard increases. So I'll half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, 2 in the one after that, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, all the way around with 1 single half double crochet in the last stitch. So we'll do our first repeat here together, 2 half double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, followed by 2 half double crochets in the stitch after that. And I will see you at the end of round 4. Okay, so this is the end of round 4. Now, like I said, if you are making the child size hat, this is all the further you increase. From here, you'll be working even until we get to the brim. If you're making the adult size hat, what I would do is chain 1, work 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, then half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 in the next one. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, all the way around until at the end of round 5 for the adult hat, you would have 47 stitches. Once again, increasing by 9. So for the sake of time though, I'm just going to go ahead and call this a child size hat and say we're done increasing. So what we would do from here is for the next, let me see, it would be 5 rows. And this is, again, teen, adult, well, the adult size or the child size. Either one, you're going to make 5 rows worked even. So worked even, that just means you chain 1 and half double crochet in each stitch across. That's it. We do that for 5 rows. So since you don't need to watch me do that, we'll come back after I've done one of these. I'm only going to go ahead and do one so we can move on to the brim because my kids will be home from school soon. And I'm sure you don't want to watch me just make half double crochets for half an hour here. So I will see you at the end of this row. Alrighty, so here we are. We've worked 1 row worked even, and it looks like it's still growing, but really, and I know it's a little bit harder to see. This is a dark yarn, but I didn't want to use a light yarn and have you not be able to see it at all. You can see it's actually starting to scoop up a little bit. Of course, it should be going this way, but we just flip it over. There we go. and it's starting to look more like a hat. Now, let me pull up the two finished ones here again. You can see this is the child size one, the one we've been making here. And if I kind of fold it into a hat shape, you can see we've gotten about this far. And all this is just working even until we get to the brim. So that means just 1/2 double crochet in each stitch for 5 rows. So then we begin the brim. So let me go ahead and put these aside again. We're going to pretend that we've worked our 5 rows of even stitches, and now we're ready to begin the brim. This is going to be a funky, not very wearable hat that we're making, but on your end, hopefully you've made all 5 rows and you're ready to begin the brim. So to begin the brim, the adult size and the child size are slightly different here. Beyond stitch count, there's just a few very small changes, so you'll need to reference the written pattern, but if you've watched one, you should be able to make the other pretty easily. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to chain 4. 1, oops, dropped my hook, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to come back and work along this chain to extend this next row a little bit. So what I want to do is turn a little bit and skip the chain closest to the hook right here. And then we're going to work 3 half double crochets in the next 3 chains. So those 3 chains that were left, we have 1, 2, 3. So I want to skip that 4th one that was closest to the hook. And I do like to work in the bottom of the chain here, but you can work into whatever part of the chain pleases you. So working the chain always takes a little bit longer, doesn't it? There's 2. Got 1 more to go. There we are. And I'll just turn this hat to keep working back the other direction. And from here, with our 3 new half double crochets, I'm going to go ahead and half double crochet even again in each of those stitches. So at the end of this round, we will have a total of 41 stitches in the child size hat. The adult size hat is exactly the same for this row, but at the end of that one, we'll have 50 stitches. So child size 41, adult size 50. You'll notice that's a 9 stitch difference, and I talked about increasing 9 stitches with each row at the beginning there when we're increasing at the crown of the hat. So that's the difference there. So we'll get to the end of this row before we head back the other way and create some ribbing. All right, so for the child size hat, we're at the end of what we're calling round 10, or excuse me, row 10. For the adult size hat, that would be row 11. And so what we're going to do now is chain 1 and come back the other direction here. We're going to half double crochet in the first 5 stitches. And again, that's the same for both sizes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we are going to back post double crochet in the next stitch and half double crochet in the next stitch, and then repeat that. Back post, half double, back post, double. Let me try that again. Back post double crochet, half double crochet, back post double crochet, half double crochet, and we're going to do that a set number of times for each size. For the adult sized hat, we would do that 21 times. For the child sized hat, we're going to do that 16 times. So that would be 32 stitches total. To make a back post half double crochet, and I know this yarn is a little bit harder to see, but if I pull it open here, and this is a good trick for you too when you're making it at home, hold it over something pale like this. Get like a pillowcase or a sheet or something and put it on your lap and use a nice bright light, and you'll be able to see your stitches that much easier. So to work around the next stitch, we're going to find the next half double crochet there, and we're going to work a back post double crochet. So we yarn over, come from behind, and just go right around the post of that stitch, pull up our loop, and finish the back post double crochet, like so. Then we half double crochet in the next stitch. Now the important thing to remember is that you want to skip the top of the stitch that you back post double crocheted around. We don't want to work into the top of that. If you do that, you'll start increasing, which is about the last thing you want to do on a brim. The brim, we want it to be nice and, well, not tight, but to fit the head so the hat stays on. So make sure you skip the top of that stitch and go to the next one. So it can look like you're actually skipping a whole stitch, but really you're just moving to the next stitch. So we do our half double crochet like so. Then we find our next post here and do another back post double crochet. and then a half double crochet in the next stitch. And continue that, like I said, until you have 21 back post double crochets followed by a half double crochet for the adult size, or 16 of those sets for the child size. So I'll see you when I have finished those up. Okay, so when you've made 16 back post double crochets, remember you've got a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then at that point you'll know you're at the end because you'll have 4 stitches left right here on the little tab that will become our buttonhole tab. So we're going to work 4 half double crochets right into these last 4 stitches. So 3 and 4. And I'm going to give you a little tip here. With this yarn, as you've seen, and if you've worked with it before, you can see you don't see a whole lot of definition with it. It's a beautiful yarn with great colors and great colorways, but it's not real, it doesn't show a lot of stitch definition, but you can use that to your advantage here. If you're making the ribbing and you find that somewhere maybe you skipped an extra one behind the post stitches, or your count got just a little bit off and you can't really see where, go ahead and use that to your advantage. Shift things over a little bit if you need to, pull one of the half double crochets over if you only end up with 3 stitches, or work it out. You know, just go ahead and fudge it a little bit. With this yarn, it's really very beginner friendly in terms of hiding your mistakes. So just a little tip from me to you about this homespun yarn. So now we're ready to begin our 3rd row of the brim. So for the adult size, that's 13. For the child, that's row 12. So we're going to start them both the same again. We're going to chain 1, half double crochet in the first 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then we're going to make our buttonhole. Very simple. We chain 1, skip the next stitch, and half double crochet in the stitch after that. And that's all there is to that. That little hole we just made by chaining 1 and skipping 1 will be our buttonhole. So you want to make sure when you buy buttons to get one big enough to fit in that hole. Again, in the pattern, there's a link to the buttons I used. But you can of course use whatever buttons you like. So after we've got that half double crochet done, this row does deviate a little bit between between the adult size and the child size. So what you want to do for the child size is make yet another half double crochet right there. And then we begin more of our ribbing. Because the back post double crochets that we made on this side are now in front, we're going to make a front post double crochet around each of these back post double crochets, and then half double crochet in the half double crochet. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We'll yarn over, work a front post double crochet around that post stitch there, followed by a half double crochet in the half double crochet. And we do this on across, working all the way across, so that in the adult size, again, we'll have 21 post stitches, and then half double crochet in between each of those, and then we just half double crochet in those last few stitches, those last few half double crochets there. That's where we'll sew down our button, or at least our first button, so we've got a nice flat piece of fabric there without the ribbing. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you at the end of this row. Okay, so here we are at the end of the row where we made our buttonhole. You can see it's right there. And we made more post stitches all the way around. They're a little bit easier to see now, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you hold them up this way, they're a little bit easier yet to see, at least on camera. And then at the end, we worked even for a few stitches, so that we've got a relatively flat surface to sew our first button to. So from here, it's pretty self-explanatory. We would chain 1, go back the other direction, work a half double crochet in each half double crochet, work a back post double crochet around each back post double crochet until you get to the end of the row. And then what we're going to do here at the tab, our buttonhole tab, is work a half double crochet in each half double crochet plus a half double crochet in the chain 1 space. So we'll be back to our stitch count there. The row after that, we chain 1 and work back the other way, just working even, a half double crochet in each half double crochet, and working back this way, it would be a front post double crochet in each front post double crochet. So let me go ahead and pull these hats up again. I think it's a little bit easier to see with this lighter color, which surprised me, but you can see the ribbing we do the ribbing for 4 rows essentially so that it's a 5-row brim, and that's for both the adult and the child size. And then remember we were working even and sort of flat on each end. Let me set that one aside. You can see we've got our flat section here without a hole has a button, plus I put a hole, or excuse me, I put a button in between these 2 ribs right here. So that's nicely spaced. And then when we worked in our buttonhole tab, I worked one of the half double crochets right into that chain space to give me a nice size hole. So then when I put the head on, although I can't put this one on, this is the child size, I can go ahead and button it there on the loosest setting, or for those who have a slightly smaller head, you can button it on the second one in, and that just creates a little bit tighter brim and a little bit more overlap here. So let me do one more thing here before we finish up this tutorial. And I'm kind of working tightly here. Let me see if we can pull the camera out just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how this fits on an actual head. Well, a glass head, because that's what I have. So I have the adult size here. And like I said, I could go ahead and unbutton it if I actually had a ponytail or a bun already on this head, but I don't. So I just want to show you how it fits. You can go ahead and just slide it right on like so. And then in back, you can see that when you're just wearing it, there isn't a whole lot of hole here. Depending on how much hair, how big your head is, you'll have a little bit more of a gap in that slit there than others. But with the hat on, you can wear a high ponytail or high messy bun, sort of the standard that you've been seeing on most of the hats out lately. Or you can wear it anywhere in here. You can wear your ponytail down lower. You can wear a nice chignon. Is that how you pronounce that? One of those low buns, whatever style you prefer. And again, even on this adult size, I'm able to call it both a teen, small adult, and a large adult because we've got this great button system where we can just tighten it up as needed. And this one's great too, especially if you don't have your hair up, and that will close that gap up there just that little bit more. And then in the front, it's just a beautiful beanie. So I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial for the Pick Your Pony Beanie, and that you give this pattern a try. Once again, the free pattern can be found on mooglyblog.com. Check the links in the description. If you like this video, please do go ahead and give it a like. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.